I ran into a friend that, well, he's more of an acquaintance. I should say he's more of an acquaintance. But for a while, he had been running a very successful mobile detailing company. It was just him, but he was making bank, like making bank. And over time, because of the economy the way it is, things just kind of slowly degraded. And he started to drink, and his truck broke, and then his dad's truck broke, and there was no way for him to be able to do his detailing, mobile detailing, because he didn't have the nothing to tow the trailer, right? And so he just, over time, he ended up just getting worse and worse and worse. And I ran into him at a gas station near where we're at, and I wasn't paying attention. I was in the parking lot and I was doing something, and he waved to me in front of my car. And if I did not know him, I would have thought that he was homeless. And I'm not, that there's nothing, there's not to be degrading or anything like that, but he had shabby hair, he was dirty, and he just looked like he was didn't have a job. He wasn't the same person. And he's waving at me. He's like, and at first I had no clue who he was. And then it clicked. I'm like, "Oh, what's up, man?" And so he came over to the side window and we started chatting, and he was telling me how everything was going. And don't get me wrong, I was in that same position. If you would have looked at me, even though I was doing well, if you would have looked at me, say, 4 years ago, because of how lazy I was at keeping myself looking decent, you would have thought that I was lazy, or that I was homeless, that I was about to beg you for some change. And so he's sharing all of the issues and the problems with me. And he's the type that, unless he's asking for my advice, I'm not going to give him advice, because I already know that it's going to fall on deaf ears. And a lot of us do that. I do that as well. But I know not to waste my time until he asks, or until he wants that. And one of the things that I noticed in his speech pattern was that he was being carried away with all of the things that were happening that were not good. All of the things that were happening that were negative, on the not so wanted side. I'm not going to even say positive, because of the concept that I'm going to get into right now. He was being carried away by all of the things that were happening that he was not wanting to happen, which we are all that way, right? We all want to have things go in our favor all the time. In one of the principles of alchemy, so there's 7 principles of alchemy. One of those principles is the principle of rhythm. And I've talked about this before. I love alchemy. If you can study alchemy, it's one of the best things that you can do. One of the Hermetic principles is rhythm out of the 7. So if you can study the 7 Hermetic principles, you'll get a lot out of it. People who study the Hermetic principles know that you cannot escape rhythm. That for every positive, there's a negative. For every negative, there's a positive. And if you were to look at a wave, if you were in high school, I was not good at math in high school. But if you were to look at a wave, in order to have a wave, it has to go up and it has to go down. It has to go up, it has to go down. music. One of the principles of alchemy is everything vibrates. Well, since everything is moving, there's constantly moving and it's constantly vibrating, there is a rhythm to that vibration. Music, you cannot have sound without the top and bottom waves. And straight through the middle of that wave, you're going to have the stability. You cannot escape. You cannot get around the fact that you're going to have your positives and you're going to have your negatives. And so what does the Hermeticist, what does the alchemist do when things are positive? He steps back, looks and goes, this is great, but I'm also going to step back and enjoy watching the positive happen. I'm going to take the steps needed as the positive is happening to prepare for the negative, because it's going to come. It will always come. The negative starts coming. What does the alchemist, what does the hermeticist do? Does he get washed away by the negative and say, oh, this is, my life sucks, it's horrible? That's what I did. That's why I would drink. That's why I would watch porn. That's why I would do all the things that would just take my mind off of what was going on and keep me in that negative swing, and I couldn't get out of it. And even if there was a positive that would happen, it wouldn't be as, I wouldn't be able to use it as much, because I would still be stuck kind of in that negative vibration, I guess you would say. But in the negative, the alchemist steps back, watches the pendulum go that way, just kind of gets out of the way and lets it happen, preparing and knowing that there's going to be a positive swing. So doing whatever he can to prepare for that positive swing, mitigating the negative, preparing for the positive. Positive swing happens, enjoys the positive, but prepares for the negative, and it just happens again and again and again. So with my friend, he was getting washed away. It's almost like as if you were in the ocean and you were playing in the waves, and a big wave comes and knocks you down. There's two choices. You can get back up. You can do what you can to get out of that wave and get back up and get away from the current that's happening and back away. Or you can get smacked by it and just and let it do whatever it is you want it to do. Even with a small wave, if you were to go into the ocean and you were to let a small wave come hit you and you do nothing about it, eventually it's going to drag you into the entire ocean and drown you, right? It's going to take you no matter what, whether it's a big one or small one. If you don't back away and see, okay, I need to step back and let this wave go. I need to I can't totally fight it. I have to do what I can. I might even have to go with it, like with an undertow or rip current. Sometimes you have to just let it take you out, because the more you fight, the more tired you're gonna get, until you let it do its thing, and then you can start swimming back or call for help or whatever. My friend was getting dragged by that wave. And so once you realize that you're always going to have the ups and downs. In my relationships with every single person, there's going to be an upswing and there's going to be a downswing. There's going to be an upswing, there's going to be a downswing. Do I get mad when there's a downswing and the person is upset with me, or I did something that was not nice and they're yelling at me, or of course I don't like it, but I step back. I let them get their anger out, let them get their sadness out, let them get whatever it is out. And then, as things calm down, there's always an upswing. There's always that opportunity that's coming up to reconcile, and then it's positive again. But guess what? When it's positive, you enjoy it, you take advantage of it, and know that not too long from now, there's going to be a negative. It's part of relationships. It's part of friendships. It's part of any type of interpersonal communication. When I go, I'm about to go into one of my coffee shops that I go into. Some days I go there and everyone's like, yeah, it's great to see you, whatever. You know, they know me by name. They're excited to see me, and so on. The next day I might go and they just got slammed with a ton of people, and they're like, hey Dean, how's it going? Okay, what do you need? Okay, all right. Some days it might be they're down because they just got reamed by a customer. Some days they might be super excited again and give me free coffee. Like last night I got a free cup of coffee from one of my friends. He's at one of the Cup of Joys over here, and he gave me a free coffee. And you never know. But there's always going to be an up. There's always going to be a down. We are going into it's 100 degrees right now, and I can't put on the air because it makes the sound bad. We are about to go into what I believe is a big downswing in the economy. In my line of business, I deal with a lot of different industries. And because I deal with a lot of different industries, I can see what's happening in all of them. And usually there's one industry that's doing not so great, then one's doing really well, and there's kind of a mix of waves. This time around, I just see a lot going down. The thing you have to keep in mind is there's going to be amazing opportunities. There's going to be amazing opportunities financially. There's going to be amazing opportunities relationship wise. There's going to be amazing opportunities to better yourself, to become who you want to be. But it is going to be a very rough time. Today, as of recording this, they had some strike yesterday, and the Costco's are running out of toilet paper here in the West Coast, and everyone's panic buying. Things are happening that are just kind of nuts, and I think it's going to get more nuts. But should you worry about it? Should you let yourself be swept away with it? If you want to do that, that's totally on you. I found that the more that I can step away, the more that I can watch the pendulum go by me, I can then see opportunities. In 2020, when everyone had to wear masks and all that other stuff, I just stepped back and I said, no, it's not going to happen. Not for me. And so I didn't play along, and my loved ones didn't play along. My business ended up doing really, really well because of stepping back and seeing opportunities and taking advantage of those opportunities rather than getting scared. I had loved ones who were extremely scared during that time and who burned bridges. Some of them just burned big relationship bridges. But now is the time, really any time, but now is the time, as things might be going a little bit in a negative, quote unquote, direction, for you to, like the master alchemist, to step back, look at the opportunities, to look at where things are going, to see that the negative is part of this awesome life that we have, and use the opportunity, these negative opportunities, to prepare for the positive that's going to come. And so, my friend, my wish for him, and using my imagination, I actually imagine him being, because he's a good looking dude, imagine him having, clean haircut, goatee, looking sharp, standing tall, looking strong, and telling me that he's had the best year of his life, and that he took the opportunity to take advantage of all of these things that are happening where other people got scared. He took advantage and was able to build his business, build his life, build his family into something strong. So if you're in a negative spot right now, I highly, highly recommend 2 things. Study the 7 Hermetic principles. And the second thing, breath work. Breath work puts you into a stress state, takes advantage of that negative stress type feeling, but you do it consciously, and it removes a lot of the fears that you would have. Breath work, breathe with Sandy is who I every night I always do breathe with Sandy. I just pick one. I usually do like the 4 round or 5 round ones. I like it, but it's not the funnest thing, but when you're done, it's unbelievable. So negative, take advantage of the negative, step back, and you'll find that as soon as you learn how to step back from the positive and the negative, you'll see opportunities that you never would have expected, and you'll benefit from those, and everyone around you will benefit from you taking that opportunity to step back and enjoy the waves, the rhythm of life that was made so that you can enjoy the adventure that you're on right now.